The idea of HECHO was born by a small group of Latino policymakers. The name HECHO, Hispanics Enjoying Camping, Hunting, and the Outdoors, builds on this ethic that we have of caring for the land, being stewards of the land, enjoying the activities that a lot of our ancestors enjoyed.
HECHO has created a platform for elected officials to advocate for conservation, and they took to it like a fish to water.
HECHO is showing the country that Hispanic communities are multifaceted when it comes to conservation.
The role that HECHO specifically plays that makes us unique is the role that we have in capturing people's stories and their connection to the outdoors.
Lifting up the voices of folks that are closest to the land, folks that have some of the biggest stake in the outcomes, and doing it in a way that's building political power. It's such a strength of HECHO, and I think it's why they are so effective at what they do.
Formed in 2013, Hispanics Enjoying Camping, Hunting, and the Outdoors was created to help fulfill our duty to conserve and protect our public lands for future generations.
What I really liked about it was that we would be able to have the Latino voice in this discussion about the outdoors. I mean, I'm a lifelong outdoorsman. I've enjoyed it with not only myself, but with my family.
I joined HECHO not only to continue to make sure that we're fighting for our water, our soils, our plants, our animals, our community, the next generation, but also advocating importance at all levels and generating the next Latinos moving forward.
Every organization that is starting up, there's those growing pains, right? I mean, there's the funding that you need to piece together. There's the team, the staff that you need to assemble. And then there's those board members that you know are going to be with you to make sure that the organization grows and that it's not only feasible, but sustainable. We started with literally no executive director.
When I came to HECHO in those early days, I saw a wonderful potential in an organization that would elevate Hispanic voices in conservation policy and in particular in public lands and water advocacy. This was a new thing for the environmental community, and how to have our voices be a part of those conversations was one of the major challenges that we faced. So back in 2015, I was the only full-time staff. When you start an organization, it's a really iterative process. We need the flexibility built into the strategic roadmap to be able to pursue not only opportunities that are coming our way, but to meet people where they are. When we did the third strategic roadmap, it was really clear to us at that point what our niche was, and our niche was that we were engaging Hispanic leaders and supporting them to engage their communities in public land conservation policy.
In 2014, HECHO told a lot of Hispanic people, and what it revealed was that Hispanics feel the need to be heard.
82% of respondents have a familial connection to public lands and the outdoors. This was an important piece of data to back up the legitimacy of HECHO, what we've been saying all along. In 2015, we redesigned our logo and created a completely new website with that logo and those colors and that brand identity. We were able to use it as a way to motivate and excite people about what we were doing. It's so funny how something so simple can really resonate with people and pique their interest about what you're doing. And so the first visits into Washington, D.C., we're introducing ourselves first and foremost, again, with our new logo and our new look, but also to talk about the Land and Water Conservation Fund.
When we flew into Washington, D.C., every conservation organization was there. National Wildlife Federation, Sierra Club, you name it. But the NWF, they came to me and said, HECHO, for such a small organization, had more member meetings than any other organization. And people noticed that. We didn't meet with staffers. Every single one of us was meeting with a member of Congress, and that didn't get past anyone. And I think that's when I felt that HECHO was really taken seriously.
That was my first time
participated in a DC fly-in and also my first time in DC, but it was super impactful to go and actually meet with leaders and talk about the importance of the Land and Water Conservation Fund and what it meant to us specifically here at home, right? And then to know that it actually received permanent authorization sometime after that trip was pretty incredible to know that we were part of that process.
One of my favorite accomplishments with HECHO is the work that we did on the methane rule during the last year of the Obama administration. We went to Washington, D.C. and testified with the Office of Management and Budget. And it was there where the gentleman that I'd met with told me that out of every state, New Mexico was #1 in pushing for this methane rule. The public comments, the letters of support, that New Mexico was out front in front of everybody, and that was all due to HECHO.
At that time, we were trying to figure out what is the best way for us to grow. Kent Salazar was integrally involved with the National Wildlife Federation.
And because Kent was a kind of a bridge, that began the conversation. It wasn't always an easy conversation at the beginning. I think having an organization that had such strong leadership, that really was totally independent and had very clear priorities and a very clear mission, trying to figure out how to fit together. And I think there's some bumps along the way, but we kind of came out stronger, and it was frankly a perfect match for us to be partnered with HECHO.
And there's a lot of possibility what we could do for the conservation movement, in that HECHO could focus on its programming rather than building up an organization and all of the systems and processes from the ground up. NWF would provide that and give us the space to really focus on our new strategic roadmap and build out our programming.
Out of that came huge campaigns around the Land and Water Conservation Fund, around wildlife corridors, around protecting special places, whether that be the Grand Canyon or the Rio Grande watershed or Oak Flat.
The Hispanic Conservation Leadership Council is a first-of-its-kind network of Hispanic leaders connected regionally across Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, and Utah. We come together and discuss perspectives about all kinds of issues.
Whenever we have local elected Hispano leaders and local community leaders stand up and fight for things like national monuments or things like the fire assistance grants for victims of massive fires like those in my very home state, the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire, we get things done because simply we need to have our voices in the room. HECHO provides that platform.
The HCLC, or Hispanic Conservation Leadership Council, leverages two existing assets within the Hispanic community. The first one being existing leadership. The second one being existing connections to the outdoors. HECHO provides a resource to those leaders to be able to participate regularly, consistently in the conversations happening at the federal level.
When you join an organization like HECHO, your word is, let's say it's amplified. They're able to amplify the word, the message throughout the whole United States and through the halls of Congress.
During Hispanic Heritage Month, we went into DC advocating for compensation for the victims of the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon wildfire. This was the biggest wildfire in New Mexico history. A lot of our community there had suffered for that whole summer. And so we went in to advocate for that, and we were very lucky to be there while that actually passed, and so we were able to celebrate as well.
This is one of the worst fires in New Mexico, I think in U.S. history. HECHO ran an incredibly surgical campaign working with the New Mexico delegation to secure several $1 billion for residents. Without HECHO's leadership, I don't think it would have happened.
I've been to Washington many times as an elected official for various things, and I can tell you that the most meaningful trips I've had to Washington are with HECHO and HCLC.
The Hispanic Conservation Leadership Council continues to make strides, whether it be in Washington, D.C., in my own state of Colorado, or even my own community of Conejos County.
The effectiveness of the HCLC has become a great example to other conservation organizations, engaging our elected officials and them being willing to fly into Washington, D.C. to advocate for conservation measures and to advocate for the people.
I mean, HECHO is like the model of how to do like authentic, collaborative conservation, right? And in the best sense of the word.
I am just so amazed at all we've been able to accomplish.
We've played a part in many advocacy initiatives. The permanent protection of Iquame in Nevada It became a national monument. The protection of Kastner Range near El Paso.
There is probably no better way to celebrate HECHO's 10-year anniversary than with the designation of the Baj Nuav Jo Ita Kukvene ancestral footprints of the Grand Canyon National Monument. We have been working on protecting the Grand Canyon from uranium mining for years, and this is a victory that we are just so thrilled about.
I think there's probably no better example than some of the work right now in Oak Flat, where you have a sacred site, incredibly important to several local tribes for religious reasons, potential toxic impacts from copper mining that could have impacts on local water supplies.
Historically, Hispanics in the copper industry have suffered a lot of social injustice. We've had to put up with pollution, whether it be from smelters, whether it'll be from dust, from the tailing sites, or the contamination of our water. So it was a good thing that they were able to put everybody together in one basket, because when you're together, that's a powerful message that you send to the officials in Washington and to the government agencies.
Without HECHO's voice, I don't think we would be able to elevate the importance of these issues to our local communities, and they're just a tremendous partner and one I'm so appreciative to be able to work with.
It's amazing from a kernel of an idea and in the beginning, a single staff person, to now this, kind of nationally recognized entity that's doing, kind of great work across many, many states. It's in a remarkable trajectory, and if you keep on that trend, kind of the sky's the limit. I'm blown away constantly by how much progress they've made, and I know they're just scratching the surface.
My message for HECHO in its next 10 years is adelante. I mean, just keep growing and never forget, where we came from, how HECHO was born, and that was querencia and herencia. Querencia, a love for the land, and herencia, honoring our heritage.
It's so incredibly important that this organization continues to thrive, that you celebrate your wins, but that you also fight for what's right in these next 10 years.
Felicidades. We did it.
But in the short 10 years that we've been in existence, we have created a profound impact on conservation, and I'm just looking forward to seeing this organization grow, not just in numbers, but in power.
Happy anniversary to HECHO, and I look forward to seeing where we go next.
Well, to HECHO, it's thank you very much for the opportunity. Congratulations. Happy birthday. And to everyone else, I say look out, because the best is yet to come.
It's been a great 10 years. Looking into the future, we are hoping to connect with more people and build new partnerships, build upon old ones. And so we're really hoping and asking everybody to reach out and to follow us and be a part of this wonderful organization.